for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, panel. Appreciate you being here today. I want to go back to something that I heard a little bit earlier. First of all, I want to talk about something that Commissioner Koskinen has said repeatedly. His quote says, "I believe that the underfunding of the agency is the most critical challenge facing the IRS today." He has made this comment pretty much in several different speeches, where it's tax policy conference or other places, where he's pretty adamant that that's a major issue. But something said earlier by one of my colleagues, I want to go back talking about the systems that you said that were dating back to John F. Kennedy time, I believe was the comment. It wasn't so much the application as it was the system. Would you repeat a little bit earlier and go into that for me just a minute?
Certainly. What they built back in the 60s for implementation in the 70s was a system design based around the technology that was available to them then.
Sure.
That design still exists, even though we're running the application now with much more modern underpinnings, that is these enterprise server that we just discussed with the Congresswoman.
Sure.
The actual design of the application is still built upon that 1960s approach.
But I appreciate you clearing that up, but that's not what Commissioner Koskinen said. What he said in his ploy to try to get more funding, more than the $11 billion already, he said, we have many applications that were running when John F. Kennedy was president. Do you agree that is that an untruthful statement?
No, I think that's true. The application, individual master file and the business master file and a number of those other clearly legacy applications, while some of the platforms they run on have changed, and the code's been updated numerous times due to legislation. The programming language is still the one that we had then, assembly language.
Well, he seems to be disagreeing with you on the code as well, because he said the code has been out of date so long, it has the unintended effect to keep hackers from hacking in. So whether it's is that just something he's not technologically current with that? I mean, are you running code from John F. Kennedy? Or because it seems 50-something years ago, where we're still running those kinds of systems and we're still operating with that code. Is that correct?
There are elements of the code that exist back that far, but the statement...
Cobalt, Fortran, what are we talking about here?
Yes. COBOL programming language code, assembly language code is the principal engine. While we've modified it numerous times, particularly with legislation, the fact of the matter is that system was designed and built in the 1960s to start running in the 70s. So, you know, I believe that the Commissioner is correct.
Okay, let me transition while I've got some time left. I'm going to go back to Form 3210 that was filled out authorizing the destruction of Mr. Maruka's hard drive. If so, if that was ordered, who authorized the destruction of that hard drive?
What would have happened would be that what I must say presumed happened was whoever was checking out Mr. Maruka from the IRS would have called the IT organization, filled out a request to say, take his IT assets and follow the normal disposition procedures.
Did you assume that would have happened? Well, why was Mr. Maruka's hard drive not covered by the litigation to hold the IRS put in place? Why wasn't that? Why didn't that cover that?
At the time, I mean, he had left before that particular litigation hold was put into place.
But did he take his stuff with him? Did he take the information with him?
But it had already been entered into the process of disposition.
Well, so what happens when he leaves, when an employee leaves? Do their records get destroyed like this? I mean, what happened? Who made the decision? Who authorized that to destroy what he was working with?
I'm sorry, I really am not understanding your questions.
His hard drive, okay?
Pardon me?
Mr. Maruka's hard drive. Who destroyed it? Who authorized it?
That would have followed the normal IT process of dispositioning of old equipment. And in that sense, the authorization is the IRS process.
And is there a timeline for how long an employee leaves that hard drives are destroyed? Is there a standard on it?
No, there is not. It follows.
So it's up to discretion.
There is a lot of discretion. There's a number of steps that are followed as to where it goes. because we have shortfalls in our staffing, oftentimes machines can sit around before they are disposed of. They may oftentimes even get so stacked up until someone gets to it.
His
But
didn't get
once-
stacked up. Mr. Chairman, my time's expired.
Thank the gentleman. Recognize